Hey guys, we're the Flying Garter and we're here with the Super 70s Rock Show featuring Super Trans Am. And we're here to do some Q&A with them to get some background, find out some information. These guys are amazing. If you haven't had the chance to see them, please go out and get your tickets when they're in the area. Okay, so we're going to start with some questions.
So before we start with the questions, if you can each just introduce yourselves and your role in the band.
And Tylen Stark, drums, vocals.
Bobby August, bass vocals.
James McGill, vocals, guitar, costume changes.
Jay Soltis, keyboards and vocals.
Paul, guitar, vocals, band therapist.
Before I dive deep into the burning questions I have, why don't you tell us about the sort of name change that you have going on right now?
So yeah, we're still Super Trans Am. It was kind of a name that I loved the 70s cars, and it was like a hot rod and Smokey and the Bandit. But by calling ourselves Super Trans Am, a lot of people who aren't familiar with 70s, when we go to the marquees, it says Super Trans Am, and people are driving by like, well, what is that? They don't know, you know? Some people think we're a Super Trans tribute, Super Trans Am. That was it.
Super Trans.
Yeah, tribute band. And so we just been getting a lot from venues that we just want to have the 70s up on the marquee where they know what we are. And
If you see the Super 70s Rock Show, you know what you're going to get.
right.
If you saw Super Trans Am and you were in Pennsylvania or somewhere else, you're not too sure what it is. So if people who like 70s music, maybe, or they do a little more research and say, what's this about, rather than, them just passing by the name. And, it's the growing pains of a band, and it's what you learn, and it's fine with me, it's fine with all of us.
Even in ads and stuff, people are like, oh, it's too long. And we've seen other bands that have like 80s tribute bands that have long names, and we're just like, we didn't think it was a big deal, but in certain markets, they're like, can we just call it Super 70 Show? So we're like, why don't we just make the show the name, but we're still the hosts of the party kind of thing. So Super Trans Am, I don't think will ever go away.
Like the Super 70s Rock Show performed by Super Trans Am, or featuring any way you want to look at it.
Okay.
We love the name, and so that's the reason for the change.
Well, I'm going to apologize in advance if I refer to you as Super Trans Am.
That's
but
fine.
That's how I
That's
know
what we are.
No,
We
you
are.
still can.
Okay.
We're still, that's still our name, and it's more like the show is the bill, and
Okay.
we're the
gotcha.
host. So
It's
we're
Shakespearean. We're the
Yeah.
play within a
I
play.
know Shakespeare. All right, cool. So let's go back to the beginning, and I'd like to know. I kind of already know this because actually you and I have had this conversation before. But whose idea was it to come up with the band and the concept?
I guess that was Bobby. He had the name, and he had.
Yeah, I was in another band, and I was just, every Friday, Saturday, I'm playing music that I just wasn't really relating to. I was a 70s kid, and the DJ started playing Rich Girl by Hall & Oates. And I'm like, what's going on? And all these kids were singing it, and then they started playing Magic, and everybody's singing. I'm like, how did they know these songs? And I was like, now's the time to do the Dream Band, the band I've always wanted to do. And I called James up, and I said, this is an idea that I want to do, and I want to have a Trans Am in the front and the whole idea. And, and then it was trying to recruit and find the right guys. And Paul came on next, I think, and then Lance, and then Jason.
And then
So it was
Jason,
the
yeah.
final piece.
And then with doing the costume changes, that's sort of all. I was working in the costume industry for many years, in a store for Halloween and seasonal stuff, and they rented the Broadway stuff, and I sort of, just sort of took my past and what I remember and just try to make it different. Like when you see the show, you'll see me dress up in a bunch of different costumes, and that's from just doing it for a long time, and I like doing it.
And I think the crowd loves it too because it's not just, I go see a cover band and they're just playing songs, right? It's not a show, it's not a performance. You guys put on a show, you put on a performance. So I think that's what's really appealing to people about you guys. So this kind of goes into the next question, but what do you think makes you stand out from other tribute or cover bands? Whether it's the performance with the costumes, the videos in the background, the props on stage, and what's the thought process behind bringing that all to the stage?
I mean, I'll speak quickly. I think we all everybody's voice and what they bring. You know, we kind of, we rehearse, we say, all right, who would sound best on this song? Like, you know, and I kind of have my lane, James has his lane, Jason, Paul, Lance too. So we kind of, you know, vocally we try to pick the right singer for the right song. And then the show, you know, we wanted to have, you know, kind of a tribute to the artists that we're covering, but just make it a show from top to bottom, like just from the visuals, the lights, to 70s stripes, to the toys, to everything. Is just, you know, we just want to be the ultimate 70s package. You know, getting back to the name really quick, the reason we're kind of Super 70s Rock Show, we don't do disco, and some...
Disco sucks!
Yeah.
I love disco.
But we do too. But we've been
Kidding.
talking to like people in Vegas and different areas about bringing the show to different, and they're kind of like, well, like, because we're not just a Doobie Brothers tribute band, and we're not, so it's harder because we kind of are, you know, a tribute to the 70s, but what part of the 70s? There's soul, there's Motown, so we're like, let's just be the rock show. So we'll do the rock, the yacht rock, but kind of that era of
Right.
stuff.
Right.
I think,
So-
to answer your question, I think what we have is we have a chemistry that everybody's an individual and we all like each other, and except me, they don't like me. But we have this. It's an undeniable chemistry. I mean, and that's hard to find in a band. You know, I mean, everybody's good at their individual places, and then we come together. You can see that we're having fun at what we do, and when we're on, we're on.
A unique part, I think, too, we're talking about the vocals, that everybody has their own voice.
Yes.
Everybody, you know, and whether it's Bobby or James says, you know, that song might be really good for you.
Right.
Or that song might be good for you, and then we work it out, and then go as far as, instead of like the guy with the highest voice will always do the high harmony, it doesn't work that way. We'll do it, sometimes shuffle it around, and once in a while Bobby will do a really low harmony, it just really works better. But everybody has their own style of voice that we kind of shift to that song. And what are some of the comments? Like they go, how do you guys always sound like each record? It's because, like, just say I want to sing that song.
We don't say the guy with the highest voice do the highest part.
Right.
Because sometimes the guy with the highest voice does the lowest part, and that's just trying to find
Whatever
the
the mix
blend.
works. Yep.
Yeah, I remember when we first started doing Carry On My Wayward Son, I was doing the highest harmony at first, and then we're like, well, let's try it, and we kind of do that every time we rehearse now. Whenever there's a new song added, we try it with me high, or Paul high, or Jason high, maybe me low, and Lance is kind of the he always picks the winner, and it's always
He's got the special sauce.
it's always the obvious. You can hear it, which is the best, but the blend is whenever it's right, that's what it is. So.
Okay. I've seen you guys perform a lot, I just, like, you know, since the very beginning. And I think for me, one of the most memorable performances, and I thought quite an accomplishment for you guys, was opening up for Almost Queen at the Stone Pony Summer Stage. What was that like when you first heard you were going to do that, and how did you feel while you were up there and then afterwards? Because that was packed.
Felt like a rock star.
Right. So
Star
for
moment.
me, when I got up there and they said our name, and it was like this explosion of applause, and you look in the audience and you see all your friends from your earlier bands that you were in to what you're doing now, and everybody's got a smile on their face, and I'm starting to sing, and I'm like getting this feeling like, wow, I was really moved by just like people just happy to see us there and do that in front of that many people. And I'm like, all right, I gotta sing. I'm getting a little emotional here. It's gonna go away. It's not going away. You gotta sing. So it was, for me, it was a really cool moment, and we thank Almost Queen for their generosity to have us play a lot of shows with them. They're really great guys.
Yeah.
Paul, how was it for you?
Oh, I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, the thing about it, when you really, you know, you've seen so many like concert photographs of your favorite artists, and it's usually from their perspective, and you look out into the crowd. And if you can see that kind of a picture in your head, that's exactly what we're looking at. It's just this iconic moment that you were living in, and it's sort of hard to believe that now you're the focus of the picture and all that crowd. So it's a wonderful feeling, and especially the love that people send your way. It just only energizes you more. So it was great.
You started speaking a little bit about this before you had the band concept, but how does it feel to see multi-generations at your show? Because the more I come to see you guys, the more you see that the music's not just appealing to my generation, which I think you guys are all the same as me. We're all Gen X, and we grew up with this music. And then obviously, like my parents, baby boomers, they also grew up with this. But now you're seeing the younger generations at the shows too, and like you said, they know the words. How does that make you feel seeing like that multi-generation at your shows?
Yeah, I mean, I love it because, you know, my kids love this music. It's timeless, you know, like 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. If you look on the charts, they're still streaming. People always looking for this music because it's just so good, you know, and you know, and that's one thing. Like honestly, like one of the other reasons why I wanted to do this band was to challenge myself. You know, do songs that actually you have to work at, the bass lines, the vocals. It's none of it's easy to sing, none of it's easy to play. So all of us always have to be on our A game to keep, you know, there's a lot of changes, and it's not like, you know, some of the dance hits that are out now, it's like 4 notes and you're done.
A lot of the songs are kind of known as the progressive songs of the 70s, and we try to keep that, you know, that we still test ourselves musically a little bit from what was there.
Right.
And perform it the utmost.
And I think that a lot of the younger generation know this music because of movies like the Guardians of the Galaxy and the stuff that's been coming out. Whoever wrote those or directed them, they love 70s music as well, and they know that it is timeless. And I'm glad that in a world where a song comes on the radio and it's a hit for 3 months and then you just forget about it. To me, there's no substance to it. I mean, there's just no longevity to some of today's music. Whereas the 70s, it's, you know, they used to develop artists and there was a plan and everything. Now it's just like a hit factory that stuff comes out. In the 70s, that's why the 70s music and that stuff is, you hear it all the time. You hear it in commercials for drugs, for Ozempic and parodies of that, and for Magic. I mean, but it's a song that, you know, I think it's kind of crappy that they use that, but at least you know.
I think they sold the rights. So
They sold the rights. Hey, you know, sometimes you got to make money too as an artist, and what you got to do is you got to do to keep your family afloat.
So it's kind of like, I have a couple rapid fire questions, so you gotta like think quick. So
Okay, Jay, think quick.
think quick, Jay. What has been one of your favorite venues or performances? Who wants to start?
Stone Pony, hands down.
I love the
Great.
Pony, 4 sellouts, and we played with the Almost Queens. I guess we love the Pony.
We all love the pony.
It's
We've had a lot of
It's like
others. I
home
mean, the
base.
Egg in Albany.
Yeah,
there's
there's a lot of cool
I love
ones.
that. For me, I'm also a deadhead, so playing the Capitol in Port Chester, the Capitol Theater, was really, really, really moving and awesome for me.
Wellmont.
The Wellmont was great. I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many.
Daryl's
How about
house.
you?
I mean,
Daryl,
yeah, they're all milestones. I mean,
Mhm.
pretty much the Pony, of course, is really the
Yeah,
high
that's,
point.
that's like our home base.
Yeah.
It's our home, let's say.
Legendary. Okay, and another rapid fire question. Who are your favorite artists to cover? You cover a lot, so.
For me, I like a really good song, and like some of the one-hit wonders we do. I like it all, but I love hearing Paul play with Van Halen because he's so damn good at it, and I like some of the one-hit wonders, like Still the One, where I get to play dual leads and stuff like that, and even like Sweet, you know, Fox on the Run, we do that once in a while, but. I like them all. I really do. Foreigner, I mean, you got a catalog with Foreigner that you can play Foreigner's greatest hits and you know every song. So I like it all. So I can't really just say that there's one favorite band.
For me, I like it because I drive the bus, I drive the band. So if the band's rocking, it doesn't matter the song really, because if the audience is reacting and the band's grooving it, it's just fun. Every song that we do, to me, is crushing it. The 70s, and it's like you just feel it on stage, and they feel it out there, and it works.
Yeah. Well, that'll lead me into my next question. From your perspective, because I have my fan perspective, but from your perspective, what songs do you think really the crowds go wild for?
Hopefully all of them.
Well, we know all of them, but we know that
Oh.
there's a few I see where I think
I'll be happy to answer that. So it's just, the funny thing about back to your earlier question, like what's your favorite song? The funny thing, when I first joined the band, you know, we learned a bunch of songs, and we threw out songs kind of casually, like maybe we should do this, we should do that. And one of the songs was Brandy, but they weren't really that serious about it. But at the time, I went home and I learned it. I go, wow, this is a lot of fun to play. And then I said, then we were almost going to end rehearsal, and I said, well, we should play Brandy. Could you guys learn Brandy? They're like, well, no, we'll do it. But no, we should play this fucking song. And then we ended up playing it, and it turns out to be one of our biggest songs. And then
One of the highlights, you're right.
yeah, it snowballed, but it actually snowballed into a lot of different ideas and ways that we were approaching it. And
Agreed.
so that to me is a highlight. It's because it's that kind of magic when you have, as James mentioned earlier, like the chemistry that we have. Like it's just these sort of, there's a lot of serendipity in this band, so it's a lot of fun. And
We've been
It's a
also
lot of fun, and it really is that song, yeah.
we've been trying to mix it up a little bit, and you know, Journey has so many songs, Foreigner has so many songs, and we're like, okay, we'll do this one tonight. But then people after the show be like, you didn't do More Than a Feeling tonight, or you didn't. There was one show we didn't do Brandy, and we got hell
Wow.
for it.
Wow. I got reamed by these
I think
ladies.
somebody wrote on our page like, "How dare
How
you? We
dare
came
you."
all the way from
And
wherever."
for me, I'm like, all right, man, let's try not doing Brandy tonight. And it was the stupidest
Oh,
idea
yeah.
I've ever had. It really was, because they had their hats on, and you're like, where was it? And it was raining that day. It was at
Yeah.
Jenkinson's, and it was raining that day. And they're like, why did you do Brandy? I was like, I didn't do it. It's the captain, and he's still at sea because it's rough seas out there. And then they looked at me with this email. I was like, Bobby, note to self, let's just keep
Right.
doing Brandy every night. Bad move.
Well, I'm not surprised to hear you say all this love for Brandy, because Jenny and I will both agree that when we watch you guys perform and we watch the crowd react, Brandy would be the song we also think, where we see the crowd just goes wild. I don't know, James, there's something like, we watch the ladies, and when you put the captain suit on, and you could just see all the ladies kind of swoon, and it's like ladies love a man in uniform, and then you just start
I
singing.
guess-
It's such a good musical.
I guess I
arrangement.
mean that comes back. Like I said, I was working at this costume store. It was in Rutherford, New Jersey, called Fun Ghoul, FUNGHOUL. And me and the owner Cliff were friends for a while. I was like, Cliff, I need a really nice cap. And lo and behold, there you had it. I used to just wear the hat and with like a different. But I put it all together, and then you know.
I don't even remember what was the first show we've ever done it.
I
'Cause
won.
it was instant. That
It-
first
I-
night.
it was instant. I was just like, I gotta try this. And then I came out with it. I was like, I need something else. So I got a snifter glass, and then I bought a pipe. I'm like, yeah, this is it. It's all about the
Are
accessories.
you really drinking brandy when you come out?
I'll have to give it to you, and you'll have to see yourself.
Okay.
he did surprise me one show when I
I surprise a lot of people sometimes. Sometimes it's really, it's hardcore. Libations in there. So we were playing in Delaware at the Paradise Grill, and some lady goes, "That's not brandy." I said, "Open your mouth." And I put it in, and she goes, "That's brandy." And I think it was Jack Daniels or something in there, but yeah, you never know what's in there.
The funny thing too, just to add to what he was saying, I was telling James one night when we were coming home from a gig, you know, because we end up carpooling together, and it's just like, you know, James, you know, at the end of the day, no matter whatever happens with this band, when people hear that song Brandy, they're not going to think of the original artist anymore. They're going to think of you and this band playing that song more than the original artist, because that's what sticks in their head is,
Right.
you know, people tend to, you know, hear it in
Associate,
their eyes.
Yeah.
So-
And it was really cool. One time we had Ax Doobie, who plays for Looking Glass, sit in with us and play that song. And shout out to Doobie, we love you, bro. Thank you.
I had fun playing that with, oh wait, I didn't get
You weren't on there, you guys.
He's the drummer.
Oh,
He's the
well,
drummer, so get out of here, Lance.
Speaking
No, he's
of
a great guy,
drummers,
we love him, he's a great guy, and it was a highlight for the band, actually.
Yeah.
well, I want to just direct my attention just for a moment to you, Sir Lance, because as you know, because we've had this conversation, my dad was a professional drummer, my brother was a professional drummer. I try, but I'm not a professional at all. And what I love, what you don't see with other bands in this area, is, you know, how you get your whole little show up there during Frankenstein, and that is also, to me, and Jenny will agree too, one of the other songs or performances during your act where people just go wild when you do your solo. I mean, it's amazing. You're an amazing drummer.
I appreciate that. The Frankenstein was like Bobby's idea. I always liked doing solos, but it's like
Yeah.
Frankenstein 70s, you know, let's make that work, and we kind of do our own little thing on it. But it's definitely fun for me. So I'm glad he picked that song. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's.
Well, thank you.
I'm embarrassed to admit that I never even knew that song before I heard you guys play it.
You know what's really cool too, to his sort of bit, when he does the
I heard
Elton
Frankenstein
John
from you.
for me.
Yeah, the hotel room, remember that time?
No. that
Yeah,
was-
whenever we were watching the whole thing and all the drum parts.
Oh, that's right.
That was the
Um,
first time he showed me, and I was like, we got to do that song one day. And I saw it was a 70s song. I'm like, we were trying to think of what to do, and we're always trying to think of new things to do with the drums, and you know, because we don't want people to get bored of seeing the same thing, but we also know that they're gonna be like, why didn't you do it? So I'm trying to find a happy balance. You know, please,
Yeah.
you can't please everybody.
So getting back to Jay over here, he also does his Elton John thing
I
and
love that.
sort of dresses the part.
More. We need more of that.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah, I
When
love
he, it
Elton
really is
John.
amazing when he does it. He's I'm not the only one that does all that stuff. So I just wanted to shout out to him because he deserves it, and he's an
Absolutely.
amazing,
you.
amazing person.
I'm
and
saying
musician.
more Elton John. As a huge Elton John
Yeah.
fan, I want to see more of that.
I'm all for it.
Well, we're running out of time here, so I have one last question for you and anything else you guys want to say. But where do you see the future of the band?
Me quitting and starting my own thing and leaving these guys in the dust. No.
Yeah, I mean, we're really psyched, and it was a great accomplishment last summer doing every Sunday, having our own 70s show. And it's cool because it's our show and our presentation, and seeing different faces each week, seeing it for the first time, and certain parts get the same laughs every time. And so we're doing it again this year. We're going to change it up, do different things, but we're hoping to, keep doing what we're doing in Jersey, but travel in Vegas and Florida and try to get it, weekend shows where we can come and bring the 70s rock show to a
Town near you. a
town near you. Yeah, very
Yeah,
much.
absolutely. And yeah, it's great. I've never had as much fun in a band than this band. It's a lot of work, but when we're up there and it's on, it really is satisfying. It really is. And I can see, when we're on, I can see the people. And I don't like to call them fans. I call them super friends. Because and my thinking is that we didn't write this music. We're just an extension to bring it to these people, and I consider all the people friends of ours and like a family. So I was like, I didn't want to be, hey, what's up, fans? It's not what I like. So I just call them super friends, and it seems to stick. And I like it. It's more personal for me that way, and I like to be personal with everybody that comes and sees us. And just be nice, because it takes no effort to be nice. No energy, no anything.
We
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time doing this with
No,
us too. This is
we
super.
appreciate
Yeah,
you guys
we
taking
appreciate
your
it.
time
No,
before
I
the
mean, if you
show.
have a couple, we could go a couple more. If you
Sure.
want a couple more, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you have any of your questions? How do you guys all know each other?
Yes.
Exactly, good question.
That is a really good question. So, we've all been in and out of Jersey bands, right? So me and Bobby played together in a band for 20-something years. And when we were, like, for me, like, I ran into Paul even before I was in the band and then meeting Lance. Like, we all know of each other from different bands, and like,
I was in a band with Paul prior, and me and James did a wedding with Jason, and we always said, if we ever needed, Jason's like
it's a secret
he's
sauce.
secret sauce. He does great harmonies, and he finds the holes that are missing. And
He's
knows
like
how
the
to kind of
Beethoven
fill
of the
them in.
band. He's like, you're not doing that right. The harmony is this, get it right, because it's a third above the fifth,
Right.
and then you have to do it, and you go to flat, and your note goes like this. I'm like, oh, okay, just tell me what to do, bro.
And then I played a trio show with James, and he introduced me to Lance, and it just we were, as we were putting this together, we were just kind of visualizing it. And Paul was in another band.
And I call him,
And
like,
he
dude,
called him
I'm
up,
like, you got to
kinda
do this with me. I'm not doing it with anybody else, bro. That's it.
I didn't want to be in the band.
Wait, we're booking because I didn't want to join a band either. I was doing other stuff, and then James is like, I'm starting a cover band.
Well, when
Oh.
when I first asked James, he was on the fence about it. He's like, I'm not sure, I don't know, and then he thought about it. He got back to me. He's like, no, let's do it.
Because I never fronted a band before. I was always primarily a guitar player. And then I'm like, all right, let's try something different.
Yeah, in a nutshell, I was in a band with Bobby. Well, I mean, I had left my prior band because I got burnt out, and then he called me with a Sideways project about doing a country band. I was like, that sounds interesting. Country of all things, and then I ended up playing country for the longest time, and then they went off and did all their things, and then they called me up and said, well, we want you in this band, we want anybody else, and I was like, I don't
He's
know.
like, I don't know. I'm like,
Sound
shut up.
like me. I said,
Shut up, Paul.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
life, when you're life kind of like you get content sometimes, you know, like, but they're like, this sounds like work, and I'm like, no, you gotta be. I'm like, whatever. And I was like, and before I hung up the phone, I go, well, what do you think about the name? He goes, we're gonna call it Super Trans Am. I was like, damn it, I'll see you at practice. And that's
Yeah.
how, pretty much how it ended up.
We did a few songs together, and the first time we got together, Jason hadn't yet quite been to the band yet, and the four of us, we were just like, that feels really
It
good.
was
Yeah,
magical.
it felt great.
It
And
felt
then,
really, four songs I think we
and,
did.
yeah, and then I was just like, and I'm like, we're looking for a keyboard player, and all of a sudden I was just like, Jay Soltis. I don't know why I didn't think of it
No, as soon as
before.
he said to me, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, that's it. That's the guy. That's the missing piece. Now the puzzle's complete.
Yeah, a lot of people say, like, is it hard for you guys because like you know so many songs and doing all this kind of stuff, and I go. And you want to lie, he goes, yeah, it's really hard. But the truth is, it's not. It's really easy. Like as I said, when you have chemistry and everyone is really good at what they do, it's just like you get in the same room and you're like, you just bang out a bunch of songs, and all we have to do is most of the time is just fine tune it, and that's it.
Yeah.
So we're very lucky that we have that kind of level of musicianship and friendship, as well as that chemistry, that you know, that X factor that sort of makes it all come together.
I use a joke, not to interrupt you, but yeah, he's like the X Factor. Like, you know, when I was in high school, they used to just walk into the room, and just everybody would gravitate to him. They didn't know the name or whatever, and they come see us, then they start gravitating, and hopefully it's just going to keep rising. And you know what I'm saying, right? It's just like a magic with that we've been lucky enough to have happen.
It's.
But I'm kidding.
Well, that's kind of getting back to the name. We just found like we're just hitting the wall. We don't want people to, like, almost Queen, you kind of know what it
You know
is
what
when
it
you
is,
see it.
right?
So we're like Super 70s Rock Show. You
Boom.
know, okay, it's 70s rock. It's gonna be, and then Super Trans Am's there, but
But
at least
the-
you know
but
what you're
people
getting right
think-
out the gate.
Yeah, you know what you're getting. You know, the lead a horse to water. You
Right.
gotta make them drink. And again, I said before, I think people are more apt to look at that name and say, let me see what that's about, and do a little more investigation. And then when they see it, they'll be like, if they like that music, then they'll be like, oh, okay, this is for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just want to thank everybody that comes and sees us. We really appreciate it. Really do. More than you guys
We have
know.
a huge fan base.
It's friend base.
Friend,
Friend, I'm sorry.
super friend.
But
Yeah, at the end of the day, is we want everybody to have as much fun, out there as we are having on stage. I think that's what translates. You know, people see us like, you guys look like you're having fun, and you know what?
We are.
and as a spectator, exactly what you were saying, Paul. It's when you watch you guys perform, and we see a lot of bands, and
Hello.
Well, it's getting.
You gotta wave.
You gotta wait.
Wave.
Oh, Lance,
Oh,
you
we were
did
leaning on
that.
it.
Yeah, you're
How's
That's the end of the interview.
I thought, yeah, I thought that was like
Little flare
showtime.
for dramatic
Yeah,
there.
we're getting intimate now.
The heat off my back.
And cuts.
going back to what you were saying, Paul, that X factor, that je ne sais quoi. When I watch you guys and I watch other bands, there's something you have that some other bands have it too, but there's just some, like, I love you guys, are my favorite, right? There's a reason why
Thank you.
I have you coming somewhere in a few months, right? It's not just your talent, it's how you all perform together. Like, each one of you is a rock star in your own right. So it's just when you watch you, all five of you up on the stage together, it really is like magic. Like, man, these guys are so freaking good, you know? And that's when you see people, like, last time I was here watching you guys, I think it was November, there was a couple, and I was hanging out dancing with the woman, I don't know who she was, and she's like, it's the first time I've ever seen them. I'm like, what do you think? She's like, I love them! So, yeah.
We're fortunate that we hear that a lot. we are very fortunate that we hear that a lot. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate every. I mean, I'm not just saying that because you're giving us an interview. I mean, it's the underlying feeling of all of us. We really appreciate that people dig what we're doing, and even first timers, first offenders, they come back, and that's really, you know, it's. I guess we're doing something right. I guess, you know.
Absolutely.
We don't take it lightly either. Like we
No.
want to make
For
sure
granted,
the
we don't take it
show.
for granted, no.
We want to make sure the show's. You know, we're right now thinking, brainstorming of what can we do next. You know what. We're working on a Southern rock
I'm already
thing.
on it.
We got some new surprises for you guys tonight, new song, new things.
There's a
You're
lot.
like,
Of,
"Oh,
There's a
yeah."
lot of artists we still haven't hit yet. That
Yeah.
you know, some of us might be dressing up in some costumes
Oh,
soon. We're
okay.
working on different
Okay.
things. So
I'm excited
Paul's
to
got
see
something
that.
special.
You're ever evolving, and that's what's great about you guys too. You know, some bands we see who've been around a long time, they're playing the same thing all. Okay, but you guys are always evolving.
Well, I gotta say one thing, and kudos to this guy, is that whenever we play a place the time before, he keeps every set list on file, and he's like, listen, we did this here the last time, we don't wanna bore the people. And, you know, we're gonna do the staples, the Brandy and stuff like that, and, you know, the Alice Cooper or what have you. But every other song that we're doing, it's gonna be totally different. We can actually do probably 3 shows
No repeat.
and not repeat anything. But there are some things that people expect.
Yes.
But for the most part, if you came one night, it's gonna be 80% a different show the next night with the staples that we do.
I think that's exciting.
Because you don't wanna, you know, we're just not gonna get lazy and do that because it's too important for us to, we just wanna be different and you know, why does somebody wanna come back and see the same show 2 nights in a row? Unless you're a touring band, like, and you wrote the songs and you have that set list and you have everything, you know, synced with the lights and what have you. But for us, it's a little bit different, and that's this guy. I call him the Great Oz.
Yeah, we can give him another compliment, because although it was basically his concept, and we all do chip in, it's still his brainstorm. He's like the overseer. He's the watcher of the sky.
The Great Oz.
Wait, he's the watcher of the skies, and even though we're kind of chipping, he's still, this is the next direction and plan. And that's really what, and we evolve that
And
together.
You
but
need
more
somebody.
than,
You need
more
somebody
than, right,
to do that.
more than not. That's it.
And that's not a bad dynamic because, you know, everything that he's done, he's been successful in, and I've done some things and I've seen his work ethic, and it's great, it's unbelievable, and I don't know when the guy sleeps. I really don't. He maybe sleeps an hour a day,
Upside down.
upside down in the back
I
cave.
have a back cave.
But no, but
Yeah, kudos. I think it's
you
his
know,
concept.
But again, he
he was very
have
humble
ideas,
too.
but we're all an open book. Like, you know, Paul's come up with ideas, Jason,
Everybody's
Lance,
come up with ideas.
everybody said, hey, and we have this thing, like, let's try it. And the people tell us if it doesn't work. And there's been a couple that
Meatloaf.
kind of, although I still like Meatloaf, but
I'm just saying, for me, the costume.
He just doesn't like the costume.
I look like a goddamn
song
pirate
is cool.
magician.
The song is cool, but he doesn't like the guy. So once in a while we throw it in. Not
there's
as
a
often
couple
as-
songs
That's
that
it.
just don't hit. So we're like, no hard feelings. Like, we never try to put too much pressure on, like, you know, if it doesn't work, and we'll try something else.
All right,
Next.
7:30.
Yep.
Well, thank you
All
guys.
right, thank you guys.
Bye, thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Rock and roll.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.